Searching podcasts for Dave, and one more time.
Hello, this is Juan. No, not the Juan of Dave and Juan fame. He's the number one Juan. I'm Juan too, like the number two, not the Albert two, as in also. But I am also Juan. Anyway, I tried to find someone to cheer for at this week's Masters Golf Tournament, but it looked like a bunch of white guys in tight pants. I finally saw one dude I was going to cheer for, but when they zoomed out, he was the long guy. He did a good job. That's a beautiful long. But I bet I know a guy who can do it cheaper. Anyway, speaking of cheap white guys, here is Dave and Juan.
And 3.
Number 2.
Follow that up with a 1.
Woohoo!
And bop, ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba. Oh, America. Here we are. Here we are.
Once again.
Did you doubt us? Did you? Shame on you if you did. Because we are back and you.
You're welcome.
Welcome. Absolutely. Completely welcome. Hi, everybody. How are you? I'm Dave.
I'm Juan.
And this is Dave and Juan.
More time.
Thank you. We were just chatting right before we came on, and we were time stamping this. The Masters ended just a few
Moments ago.
What's the line? Something like nothing else. The Masters on CBS.
I think the only other time I watched any real golf, I watched the end of the Masters in 2019 when Tiger Woods last won.
Okay.
And I know that because it was Easter Sunday. That was way back when my mom was in the hospital. And so we're sitting in the waiting room and it was on.
All right.
And I wouldn't have watched it today, but there's absolutely nothing on TV. And I said,
Correct.
well, I bought a new TV a couple of weeks ago. And I said, well, let me see how this outside stuff looks on the TV.
Man, listen. I'm hoping it looked okay for you.
Oh yeah, it looked great. Yeah.
Dude, there's no better shots than Augusta. Yeah. Like that's some pretty TV right there. I still get it. And we're by it now, but I'm always amazed that we still have like a famous golf tournament in the South in Georgia called the Masters. Oh, you haven't thought about that. I can't believe they haven't I'm sure they protested it before, but and we know that it's supposed to be, or it is, to Masters of Golf, but when they were canceling everything and that seems
you
like
can't, there was a while you couldn't call the bedroom that you and your wife sleep in
the master bedroom. No, that's right. No. So, but it was.
So I don't know any golfers. And when I turned it on, Roy McIlroy.
It's actually McIlroy, but okay.
McIlroy, there you go. See, I don't know. Was way ahead.
Uh-huh.
And then all of a sudden he started tanking.
Yeah.
And then so I'm pulling for him. And I told my wife, I said, he's going to lose because he's the only one I know. So I have a dog in that fight.
So I know, like most, I will watch the majors. I don't think I will ever watch just a normal golf tournament. But I'll say if the U.S. Open's on, the British Open, the 4 majors are on. And then the Masters is always, that's the weekend, the Saturday, Sunday, the Masters is always, it's pretty good because it's the biggest tournament in the world. It's fun to watch it. I like the fact the Masters does things old school, like you can't have your phone. They take your phones.
Yeah, nothing,
right? Yeah. There's no running at the mat, like from hole to hole. So they're old school, as you would expect from the Masters. But
my son told me yesterday that the only place you can get Masters merch is there.
Yeah, it's a big what's the word I'm looking for? A flex.
Yeah,
it's a flex. Whenever you see somebody wearing their Masters gear, it's a flex.
Yeah, I've been. So but they
do They do about $1 million a day. They do about at the pro shop. while the Masters is underway, they do about $1 million.
Yeah, he said like a polo is a couple $100 just for your basic polo.
That's also one way to move $1 million of merch is when your hats are probably
Yeah.
running you $65-$70 and just, and it's not exactly, let's put it this way. They don't pull up to the Masters in a bunch of public school buses for a days out with the kids. Okay. It's it's the flex. I know a guy, he's a good dude. He's been very good to me. He's a very successful bank executive in this area, but I just knew flat out that's where he was going to be. And of course,
Yeah, I know a couple of guys that have been. I know guys have gone to I think it's a little less to go to the practice rounds. But I guess it's a tradition thing, but I noticed the markers on the tee box look like a branch out of a pine tree.
the markers,
The markers where
okay,
where your line is.
yeah.
So,
I
and
haven't
then I
played.
also like just the subtlety of the announcers. It's very quiet.
Well, they're outside. Most of them, they're not. The studio's a little bit different, but yeah, that's all part of the Masters on CBS. Brought to you by who's the big ones? Who's the Mercedes Benz? Because you can't be a funk chalk chew without a Mercedes Benz.
Yeah, you didn't drive here in a Corolla.
AT&T. I think Rolex. Maybe not. It always seemed that Rolex was always. I know they do.
I think
Wimbledon.
years ago it seemed like Rolex had like their big clock on the scoreboard or something. Yeah,
Yeah.
like
I think that's Wimbledon.
Rolex.
I think the Masters. A lot of people confuse the Masters and Wimbledon, the tennis tournament in England, because
Wimbledon, yeah, that's true.
yeah, because they're so prestigious and this is the old. But anyway, so Rory. So let's keep it. Rory McIlroy was all over the place today. He started up 2, went down. He was up 5. He was down. I was texting, some friends texted me, and I called it around like hole number 15. And I said, I bet you $1 Rory bogeys number 18 to give Dustin Rose the win. And I didn't want that, but he bogeyed 18.
Yeah, it was close
to go into a playoff, and then he won the playoff. So it's funny how we can be all excited and cheering for multi-millionaires.
Right.
Who, we just feel so good that Rory finally got the Grand Slam.
I think first place was 4.6 million. Second place was like 2.2 or something.
Yeah. So
caddy gets. I googled the caddy gets a flat fee, maybe like 30 grand, and then 10%. If you win, the caddy typically gets 10% of the purse.
Typically so. So the caddy made about $500,000 today, give or take. Not bad. I'd carry a bag. I'd definitely carry a bag. But so that's going on. The other sports, we're talking about money, and we've been starting off talking about church the last couple of weeks. We'll probably get back. I do have a church story for you today. But the other sports news is Nick Saban was right. He's been right about a lot of things. Nick Saban, right? And love him or hate him, he got out of coaching.
He got out. Why did he get out?
He got out because he saw what NIL was about to turn college athletics in general and college football in particular into a bleep show. And that's what it has become. If you didn't see and I believe the youngins call the term is mid. The quarterback for Tennessee is mid. I guess he's all right, and Tennessee had a decent year, but his stats weren't that great. And they got
as typical as Tennessee typically does. They start off great. And I got a guy on the pastor at my church, big Tennessee fan. So, he's always hopeful. Then by the last 3 or 4 games, when they're playing in conference, they crash and burn.
I got nothing against Tennessee. I don't, but I don't even know. I wouldn't have been able to tell you the name of the quarterback from Tennessee before this stuff started.
No.
But now
what
I have
are you talking about with the quarterback of Tennessee?
I have a vested interest in this guy crashing and burning. I don't wish him really, really bad, but so just in a nutshell, this young man who I think is 19, maybe 20, and like I'm saying, mid. He's okay. If you're a starting quarterback at an SEC school, you're pretty good. You're better than the average bear. Okay.
Right.
but he ain't. He's not the next coming of Andrew Luck or Peyton Manning
Right. He's
or
no Joe Burrow. He's not getting drafted top if he goes.
he's not in Joe Burrow. Right, not in Joe Burrow's league. Well, this dude, this show you the world we're playing in, the world we're living in, already was guaranteed over the course. If he stayed another year or two, he was guaranteed $8 million by the time maybe by the end of his junior year. He was going to get $2 million this year coming up, and I think he may have made $2 million this past year. But also said they were having a lot of problems because a part of the NIL deal and the money he was getting, he was supposed to be at autograph signings
Yeah.
and PR, and he wasn't. So he was a prima donna punk, and apparently making $2 million a year going into this next season. He just figured that 19, 20-year-old mid quarterback just decided that I think I can get a better deal. He wanted like
held out.
And rumor, and you got to love the fact, the coaches are just max. I think it was the Oregon coach. I forget. Anyhow, another collegiate coach got wind of this quarterback's dad reaching out and seeing right before the portal closed. They wanted to see what kind of deals they could get. So they were shopping before the portal closed, and then this cat skips the spring game.
Yeah.
Right, because he was like, I guess, almost like a holdout. And
Yeah, I mean, it's basically like an NFL holdout.
And shout out to Tennessee. Tennessee stepped up and said, "I guess we're moving on without you."
Yeah.
And they released him. They got.
Well, I was reading today. They said like the players just hated this dude.
Well,
they said he was a cancer in the locker room,
Yep.
just a prima donna. The types of stuff they said, part of the NIL deal is you've got media availability, autograph signings. He wouldn't do any of that.
Who would have ever thought that taking somebody like a kid, and then that's why it's broken. Oh, who would have thought that? Nick Saban thought it.
Yeah.
And a lot of us without his platform. So that's a mess. So I'm not a Tennessee person, but I'm going to root for Tennessee a little bit this year. Whoever becomes their quarterback, and if it'd be perfect if they'd win the national championship.
Yeah, that'd be the year.
After dumping this guy, but I don't know.
But the whole thing is, and go back. So the portal's closed, right?
I don't.
Is that done? Yeah, I don't know. I just assumed it, but let's hope nobody will pick him up.
I don't keep up. Oh, somebody's going to pick him up. It's just going to happen. Everybody.
He'll be a starting quarterback in Colorado.
Probably so. Why not? Deion will come up and say, "Hey, Deion's going to, thank the Lord Jesus, and that's what Deion does. Deion can do. Deion gets away with a lot of stuff by
Yeah.
Deion's like the Joel Osteen of college football coaches.
Yeah.
And,
Smiles and thanks God right before
love
he
him.
stabs you in the
That's
back.
right. Some people love him, some people don't, but he's still, he's getting paid. So there you go. That's
And then, well, speaking of getting paid, the other bit of sports news, a little more local if you're where we're from. Derek Carr, apparently Saints quarterback, out for the season with an injury that I'm assuming was sustained during the season last year. Yet he wouldn't take earlier this year when they tried to get him to take a team friendly deal to help them out with the cap room. He said, nope, not going to do it. Last month, they restructured his contract, though, and guaranteeing his money up front, adding a clause, an injury clause, which means can't play because you're hurt, you still get paid. All of it.
really.
Last month, they did that.
Wow. Well, far be it from us to cast aspersions and question somebody's is that morality? Their
desire to make a lot of money.
I guess so, man. It's a business is a business.
It's a business deal. I get it, but Lord,
I don't blame Derek.
I don't blame him. I blame the Saints on that thing.
Mickey Loomis is a train wreck.
It's like, how do you not know?
Has been
this you giving this guy? He's coming off an injury that ended his season. I think it ended it. But he was injured a couple of times last year. You giving this dude a injury, a no injury cut or no injury, salary hit clause. You're not talking to the team doctor,
Uh,
checking that out. Hey, how's he doing?
maybe they did. I don't know. I mean, you would
Yeah,
think.
and that would be Mickey Loomis, right? Yeah, down typical
Perfect.
Mickey Loomis.
So, well, here's the only upside of this, Saints fans. You got no need to get your hopes up, right?
Yeah.
So, as opposed to last year where everybody got fooled, everybody got fooled. The first 2 weeks were like, what in the world? Get out of here. It came together. I was in the Superdome for the very
Yeah.
first game of the season where they just, I mean, destroyed the Panthers. And I think I remember saying that
Yeah.
during in a bathroom break, halftime or right after halftime. One of the guys said, "Are we this good, or did they just suck that bad?" And everybody in the bathroom was like, "I think they just sucked that bad."
Yeah. Yeah. We're gonna
Um,
find out soon enough.
and
And
we
we did.
and we did, and we did. So again, good news, Saints fans. Um, you can plan on doing other things during. You know, well, that's basically you, right? You're still gonna watch, I'm sure, Juan.
Oh, you know it. You know it. And God help us or help me if Shador Sanders gets drafted by the Saints, and I'm gonna then have to pull for the guy because
The odds of
God knows
that
I'm
went
throwing
up.
some trash out at him.
The odds of that went way
Yeah.
up, and it would be quite the Saints move because the stuff I hear and watch, and
Another
when
mid.
I'm going to sleep at night and I'm listening to various podcasts to try to put me
Hmm.
to sleep. I had one the other day where some young quarterback guru was talking about what, and he doesn't have Shador ranked. He says no way is this guy.
Right.
He said he's not a top 3 rounds quarterback. He's like he's a gamble at best. So
Well,
the Saints are going to
they were
take him.
saying that his pro days got a lot of tells.
Yep.
Yeah, just does a number of things when he's going to throw the ball where defenses will pick him apart.
As we bore America with our sports talk, and the other one is he led the nation in passes behind and at the line of scrimmage. In other words, not throwing downfield, like throwing stuff out in the flats or
Yeah,
just right. So what they're saying is passes I can make.
yeah, right.
I can.
Gimmies.
You know what? I can make a 15-yarder. I can do it right now. I'm an old man with a bad back right now, and I can. So anyway, um, good luck, New Orleans. But again, in some ways, it's like when your team's officially removed from contention or out of contention, you can go, "Whew."
Yeah, feel a little bit easier about it.
I'm that way fantasy football. If ever I have a season, whenever I have a season that I just realize, I'm out of it. I don't have a chance to win the championship. All the stress goes away. All right. We're like the water boy. Oh no, we suck again. But yeah, had a good week. I was spent pretty much the entire week in Thibodaux, Louisiana, at the house doing. And I knew I was going to be doing it, but it was a beautiful 3 days. 3 of the
Oh,
prettiest
hell,
days.
nice. Really, man, it's been great.
So I'd get up in the morning, open up the house, let air, nice air go in there, telling my mom it's like, yeah, it's just beautiful in here, right? And I used those 3 beautiful days to kill myself in the yard and various house projects, but got them done. Got them done. I felt like there was a movie Ricky Bobby, Talladega Nights.
Uh-huh. That was
When he
on
get,
this afternoon.
yeah, when he rides and he gets out with the cougar. Dog, man, I'm scratched up. I got big old scratch along the back of my leg. I don't even remember getting because, pro tip, y'all, big azalea bushes. I mean, big azalea bushes, like, 9, 10 feet high and that wide that have random things growing in them. They got a lot of, they got a lot of stuff in there you don't want to be rubbing up on. I was rubbing
Well,
up on it.
it's the random things growing in them. I finally learned because I have rose bushes and stuff, or just those little box roses. But so, yeah, when I pruned them, I finally learned to start wearing gloves to do it. Because it's
Oh,
basically,
well, that's a give. Yeah, I'll wear
yeah,
gloves. I mean, yeah, no. I mean, I've learned, and again, I'm dumb. I even wore sleeves. I wore, but I was wearing shorts like a couillon. You don't go do all that yard work and cleaning out flower beds and pulling up stuff but it's kind of funny. Part of me does you get while I'm doing this stuff, I'm limber and I kind of forget, that dude, you're gonna hurt when you stop. And I've been walking around like Fred Sanford for about 2, 3 days, man. I pulled a muscle right above on my right side, like right above my hip and right below. I don't know. It's like it's off to the side. Where at first I'm like, man, I got a kid. What I got kidney stones. What is this? And it's like, no,
You're
it's
just
just
old, man.
just
You're just
old.
old.
It's just old. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. How'd you hurt yourself, man? I was pulling some weeds.
I was walking. Did you trip? No,
No,
just walking.
no. And I'm a menace with one of these long tree saws. You
Oh,
can
dude,
extend.
that will wear you out like you don't
People
believe.
don't realize. I know I'm pricing. I got a guy. I got to see whether I'm going to pull the trigger on a couple $1,000s to have the trees. We got some big oak trees to have them professionally trimmed, and that's actually a really good price. Pricing it around, but yeah, man, because you start getting ambitious. You get those. And those you don't know we're talking about. It's the you can extend if they're fiberglass poles. You can extend it
Right, you
probably
can extend it like 20 feet or something.
not quite. Maybe like the
Yeah.
long 12. I think the biggest one's 15, but you can't
Well,
extend it. It's heavy.
I used to when we lived in our other house, we had palm trees around the pool, and so I used to prune those. But dude, I had a chainsaw extension for the pole.
Oh,
Um, or a pole with a
right,
chainsaw
right,
on it.
right.
You talk about that's heavy.
Your arm
And
your arms weigh 30 pounds a piece after
yeah,
about like 30 seconds of that, and then it's like and then the worst thing is when you clip one and you don't quite get it
yeah, that's because then you can't get it.
now, and then it takes a weird angle on you and it's hanging, and I can't leave it that way.
Right.
What am I? Yeah. So here's what's happening. Anybody who's ever dealt with that is listening, going, "Cool, yeah,
Oh
bro,
yeah, I hear
that
you, bro.
sucks."
I hear
Other
you.
people are like, "I don't know what they're complaining about, man." No, I found myself standing pretty high up on a ladder. I'm on a ladder with an extended pole,
Mm,
and I can't. And it's leaves, it's branches that hang over the house, but they're flimsy enough that you can't get them with the saw. You know what I'm
right,
saying?
because if
You
you
can't.
start working it with the saw, the
Yeah, they
branch
just
will go
move. The
with you.
branch just moves, right? So you have to try to get them with the clippers. But then you got to, that little hook, right? You got to put the hook
The
over.
little hook, and then the hook gets jammed up on the
The
branch.
hook gets jammed up, or you're going to do it and you let go of the rope, and the rope swings away from you. So you're standing on top of a ladder like a
Yeah.
freaking circus clown trying to get that rope. And I'm thinking, man, I'm gonna fall and kill myself right off of Audubon. You know,
Look, I'm
think,
telling you, I can remember when I first got one of those pruning poles, and I just thought that was like, it was to me that was like AI of the yard work deal, where just how amazing is this?
I
I
don't
can
even need
just
a ladder.
pull this rope and cut branches, pap, pap, pap,
Yeah.
and then about the second pap, yeah, it gets up. You're cutting like pine trees, it gets all sappy in there.
What needs, this must exist. But every time I'm fighting with that saw to use the clipper instead of
Mm-hmm.
the blade, I keep thinking they got to make one of these things that's just the clipper.
You
Because
would think
when
in
you're
a
doing it,
heavier
that blade is always getting stuck, or
it gets in the way
like you start
because
trying to do it,
if you miss with the clipper, then the teeth of the blade gets
trying
stuck
to
in the
dig
tree
in,
and you
or
can't get it off.
you're trying to get the clipper in between two branches, but
Yeah.
the freaking saw blade gets hooked on there. Or the worst is this the blade binds or gets stuck,
Right.
and then you didn't tighten the pole enough, so when you pull on the pole,
You lose the pole.
well, no, it doesn't. You lose it, but it stretches. It it
Yeah.
it, it extends more instead of comes with. Oh, all right. I bet you nowhere in America this week and all the hundreds of thousands of podcasts that anybody spend 5 minutes complaining about tree
Hey,
saws.
that's real, man. It's real.
But yeah, so yeah, I might have to reach out, see about getting that done, because the neighbor, the next door neighbor, had his trees, and that, y'all, that's an old guy thing. When you and a neighbor can stand in the yard going, "Oh, look how nice them trees look, bro." That opened up your whole yard.
The
Look at that.
sun's coming through.
Oh man, it's like you can almost breathe better out here. Look how
Mm.
open that is. But there you go. The joys of home ownership. I was making that list. What did I do while I was there, man? I was working on uh changing toilet seats and What else? Cleaning. It was, it's like that little list.
General
Just
maintenance, Dave. Just
general
general
maintenance.
maintenance.
General maintenance. I'm a custodian. Not even a custodian. I'm a general. I'm like a GC. All right.
Yeah.
I live at Lowe's and Walmart the whole time I'm in Thibodeau. Whole time I'm in Thibodeau.
Dude, Walmart is at a town just out of Baker. This week, five dudes, or just outside of Baton Rouge, Baker, the suburb. Five dudes rode horses into Walmart.
I saw a clip of that online. Now that needs to go straight to jail.
Well, I think they are going to jail, but one of the guys they got one of the guys, and one of the news stations here was interviewing him, and they said, "What's the deal?" Perfect answer: horse is my emotional support animal.
Oh, geez. So I appreciate that. I appreciate the hypocrisy, and I'm sure they exactly. Wait a minute. Why do dogs get special treatment?
Yeah. What do I do now?
Why are dogs getting special treatment? I'm getting tired of that too when I get on planes and everybody's afraid. Everybody has to act like they're so happy to see. Oh, look at him! Everybody's so happy to see somebody else's dog, and I'm like, y'all either stupid or lying.
Well, a friend of mine's wife, a friend of mine who lives in Houston, she posted today how good their new dog was doing when, in public when she went to Lowe's with the dog today. And I so wanted to comment, leave your dog home.
Leave your dog
Nobody
home.
wants to see your dog in Lowe's.
Nope. Got a problem with that. And it's not like if you're out in the park and your dog's on a leash, okay, fine. I may be happy to see your dog. That's a good looking dog. When I'm in line to get on a plane, I'm sorry. And here's the other thing. First of all, it's not a service dog. It's not a service dog.
No.
What service is it, right? And if you're telling me it's emotional support, then you probably don't need to be on a plane.
Service dogs are supposed to be tagged service dogs to make sure you don't touch them and all that other stuff. And so, that's not. But would be well annoyed or hate the dogs especially when the people had the little baby like stroller for the dog.
That's a bit much. Well, while we're on the line of Walmart's kind of close to us, at my place, Sam's, this past weekend, picking up whatever, get back, just stocking up on stuff. So I'm walking out from my from Sam's, got my buggy, waiting to cross, because Walmart, I guess it's all stores that are like that, but it's especially kind of rough at Walmart and Sam's, where the walkway, like it's the place you're most likely to get hit by a car is in a Sam's or a Walmart parking lot.
Yeah.
Especially these idiots that walk out and don't reference anything.
No.
They think it's like God must be watching over them, that they just walk out of a store.
Right. I wouldn't walk through a marked crosswalk in a store parking lot without checking twice.
So I get there. No, there's a good bit of traffic kind of going, and again, beautiful day. This was, I think, Saturday, and so I got my cart, my stuff in it, and I'm waiting to cross, and then there are two cars stopped, not far from me. I mean, not just basically between the parking lot and the store.
Yeah.
It's like, and I hear bop 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 bop. Hey, and they're yelling. I'm like, you're not yelling at me, so I was just not paying attention. And it keeps going on, bop, bop, bop. Hey, and then I look up, and there's this guy walking away, and he's got a big cart, one of the flat carts. It's got like a bunch of flowers, like Easter lilies or something. And, if you'd have told me he was, bringing something to a church and a bunch of other things. But he had and apparently a thing of detergent, a big plastic, like Tide.
Mm-hmm.
And those things are 20 something, $30. I mean, so had fallen off his cart, and those carts, I guess, are kind of loud. He's pushing these away, and it's outside, it's windy, and they're hitting the thing. They're yelling at him, and the guy is not turning around. He's not, and I realize what's going on, and then I'm annoyed because they're stopped, and I'm just like, hey, he doesn't hear me. So I walk out.
How about somebody get out of that car?
I let my cart go. I had to make sure it didn't roll away. I get out. I walk between the two cars, pick up the detergent. I was even nice enough to grab the cap that had fallen off. I put the cap on, and one of the guys in the cars, kind of leaning out, and I'm like, "What about this guy? Huh? He's clueless. What the hell?" So I turn back around, And I'm like, hey, and then this guy's in the distance and he turns and I guess he sees and whatever. So I'm kind of getting ready to like, bruh, the hell. And as I get up to him to give him the detergent, he had one arm.
That's not funny.
And I can't tell you.
Did you help him load the stuff?
Well, here's what happened, man. I couldn't go right with him because he left his cart. He came over, and when I went to hand it to him, I was like, oh, dang. Dude's got one arm. So I handed it to him, and he wasn't an old guy. So I don't know.
I'm not laughing at the man having one arm. I'm laughing at
No,
you.
I'm laughing at the situation, laughing at me because I'm like annoyed that I'm having to save this guy's detergent who apparently doesn't care because he's walking away and not even looking, and I'm walking out into traffic to do this, and it was even worse than last week.
He was probably having to focus on balancing that cart.
One. Oh, I felt like a total ass, man. Like, not that I was mean to the guy, but I was
because
thinking,
if you've ever pushed those carts, it's a kind of push pull on each side.
and I was amazed, like how are you doing this? So he gets it. He says, "Oh, thank you. You saved my clothes, whatever." I'm like, "Hey, all right, no worries, dude." Like my attitude went straight from, "Hey, bro, get your act together," to like, "Oh, good grief."
Well, you got it together.
Then I was impressed, and then so I couldn't leave. My cart was away. I had to go get my cart, and get back and get out of the jungle to get to my car. And then I was like, "Man, I got it." I was going to help the guy. And then I kind of looked around, tried to find where he was, and he had it all pretty much about done. But
it probably wasn't his first day with one arm.
Probably exactly. That didn't happen last week. But
there's a homeless guy that I see, fairly regularly on the road who got one arm, but he also has a backpack that he carries, and his arm's going at the shoulder. So it's always interesting to see when he's ready to leave or he sees a cop car, him loading up that backpack.
Yeah, I think this guy might have been. And I don't know if it was at the shoulder. It was pretty high because he had a sleeve, and the sleeve was just sort of either tucked or tied or something. But hey, props. I got in my car thinking, whew, don't complain about nothing today, dude. I'm sure I did.
Thankfully, you weren't one of the ones blowing the horn.
I'm sure. But they were trying to be helpful. I don't know.
Oh, I know. I get it.
I don't know if those guys saw because I guess
they it was the opposite side, yeah.
Because I saw him from a distance and I saw him pushing. And the last thing you expect, that guy pushing a big old flat cart full of stuff, is that he's doing that with one dang arm. But he did. So,
dude, there's another homeless guy in Baton Rouge I'll see every now and then. He pushes a woman in a wheelchair while pulling 2 shopping carts loaded down with their stuff behind him.
Dang.
And my whole thing is, bro, I bet you could get a job in some logistics company. Just go to a warehouse, move stuff.
You got some serious engineering going on doing that. And yet, so you see that. You see a guy out there with one arm doing that kind of stuff. Look at the Sam's. You see that. Yeah. And then I'm in Walmart or Sam's, but you see, I think more in Walmart than Sam's. And I see people who I know dang well could probably beat me in a 40-yard dash. Using the motorized carts.
Oh, dude.
And I'm talking.
And they ain't putting it back inside to charge up.
No. Yeah, and I guess they can't do it. Part of me wants to say, I want some. Shouldn't you have some kind of test? Shouldn't there be some kind of?
Yeah, it's, I don't know. It's because apparently there's no handicapped thin people. That are in need of those carts, those buggies, whatever you call them, scooters.
You do have a point. Oh man, you know what? That'd be almost a funny. How can you do it? Not that we're worried about being politically correct, but exactly. Like, what's the average size of somebody on those carts?
Right. Oh yeah.
And they're there for a reason.
Yeah. So apparently those things don't have a weight limit.
They don't. They're built. Because dang well, Walmart and Sam's specialize in getting sued. Everybody in the world wants to sue them. So they know they got to stress test those things to the max. But you'd almost think if we lived in a tighter society, you'd restrict what you could buy if you were driving one of those things. Like,
Well,
you know what I'm saying? Like
heaven
those things.
forbid, don't be throwing that around, dude.
They would not look, man, because you walk into Sam's and they got those machines that are going around taking inventory. You know, there's those AI run
Mm-hmm.
carts. They look like a Zamboni from hockey.
From
You know, they
ice
go
hockey.
right. So you know they can program those sit down riding
Yeah.
carts not to go down the Little Debbie aisle, right?
Well,
Just
right,
just
right.
block
Or
it.
soft drink, or
Just just block it. Well, that's
but
a
you
big thing
can't.
going on. Yeah,
You got that going on with the whatever they call food stamps now.
right.
Some people say you shouldn't be able to buy soda with that or candy.
I you know that's an interesting argument that's happening now, and I guess it's one that needs to be made. But dude, there's so much fraud in everything. We're already the weird thing is we're numb to it, and
Yeah,
but a couple of things we're just not numb to all the things they're showing us. But my question is, okay, how much of that have we actually stopped? Like,
yeah.
so Elon and Doge has identified a bunch of stuff, but now that's sort of frozen because various judges are saying you can't. You know, how dare you not cut basically a blank check for
Hmm.
$2 billion to some organization that was literally founded last week?
Well, I saw something, a meme. It might have been today. I saw it where it said, um, the same people who were okay with you getting fired for not taking the COVID vaccine are appalled by the thought of you getting fired for not going to
For
work.
not doing your job. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's well, and because we are not, we try to be, we bring you the news every now and then, folks. And the one that I read that just is interesting, and I would just love to put this again. We talk about this. We've got friends of all persuasions, all
Hmm.
political persuasions, all religious persuasions. It's a big melting pot. God bless America. Uh, Heck, Bill Maher said nice things about Donald Trump this week after a dinner at the White House. So I mean, if that can happen, so
He's taking it on the chin for that.
yeah, well, good. I mean, but that's good. But it was, and I give him props for doing it. You can tell when he gave his 12-minute speech
Yeah,
on
his monologue.
what happened at you can tell he tried hard to throw his hardcore base a few bones, like making it sound like he was a little critical of Trump and made more than a few jokes at Trump's expense and whatever, just because he wanted to. He didn't
Yeah,
want his
yeah. Well, he's
hardcore
got a
audience,
balance, but I'm okay with that.
right?
And I think it came from him where he talked about that Trump came out. This might have been. I tell you, I listened to one of his podcasts the other day. No, because it hadn't happened yet. So it had to be from the monologue or something. He said Trump has brought him all the MAGA gear, uh, and it's stored in the closet where apparently Bill Clinton
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
Monica
yeah, yeah.
Lewinsky did their
Yes,
little
he
stuff.
called it. He called it a more vulgar name for that room, but yeah, that's where they keep the merch now.
Yeah.
Um, but so that was good. But regardless of political persuasion or even the people that think everything now is evil and everything before was wonderful and whatever, there's some stats that they've shown. These are facts. They got the hard numbers. I'm not going to give them all, but between 2021 and 2024, just under 4 million social security numbers were issued to non-citizens.
Hmm.
Okay. Help me square that circle, y'all. Help me understand. Help me understand. Make the
Yeah.
argument that makes sense.
And heaven forbid we don't, we do that and then we talk about that, oh, Trump's trying to cut Social Security or,
What do you 4 million non and and that was the way it was written up. It wasn't saying illegal. It wasn't
right.
saying they came over, but and then immediately once they get social security numbers, what do? All
Yeah.
kinds of stuff. Those that can't register to vote, they
Right.
get
You do
on
whatever. You
welfare.
go get, yeah.
They get
It's
on.
you are eligible for all the benefits.
Correct. So that particularly ticked me off today as I helped, prepare my mother's income taxes. Now,
I'm doing mine this weekend.
okay, so it is, and Liz is it's about as simple as you can get, right? I mean, it's
Hmm.
not. We sold all our wineries and our private jets, and you know,
You've paid your your
yeah, the Martins have divested of our Swedish bank accounts, and yeah, so it's a pretty straightforward uh, income tax thing. And my mom, I'm not going to give her age, but my mom, love Liz. She's okay, but she's not living. You know,
right.
she's not flying private. She's not flying everywhere. Owes money, right? Owes money. And I'm thinking, after I'm doing that, and my wife's sitting there, and she's helping me with various things, and getting stuff and with documentation, and I was just like, how many people are here? They don't pay taxes.
No.
Nobody goes after them. How many people don't belong? I mean, forget not pay taxes that are here, not supposed to be here,
How many people,
that are getting money from
you
us.
know,
Like,
right, right. Yeah, I know tax preparers who, there are people who use the term free money when they're talking about getting a tax refund,
hey, free
and they
money.
don't pay taxes. It's just they know how to work the system to where they'll get some earned, I don't know, child care credit or something, and it's a whole thing. If you don't pay taxes and you're getting a tax refund, you're not getting your money back.
No joke.
You're getting
No
our
joke.
money back.
Yeah. So, yeah, I
And
I
that's so my
thought,
point is what the vast majority of people in this country don't have to ever pay. I mean, they don't pay any taxes, or I guess whatever they pay, or they certainly, um, their income level, I guess, is. But so why would your mom have to pay taxes? And
dude. And I thought there was no way, because they've been bringing. And again, the other thing about taxes, they intentionally make them so, like, I can't do mine anymore. And it's not
yeah,
like and I'm just kidding about vineyards and stuff like that, but it's just
no,
business.
well, you've got everything, all your travel, everything. You've got so
It's
many business
a
expenses.
freaking mess. So, and it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be, right? But it is, that is what it is. And when you're doing that, when you're going through the taxes, you realize, and you just reminded of it.
Well, I do
It's
my own,
intentionally difficult.
and I've talked about that before. I do my own, so I can manipulate certain things that I don't have to admit to,
Right, right.
or ask someone else to do. But I really, yeah, I've got some deductible stuff because I do some freelance work and other little things like that. Um, but the worst part for me about doing it on your own is you put your income in first, which then before I put any of my deductions in. So now it shows how much it
Scares you.
says what you owe. It's like, oh goodness, I got to
Scares you.
go.
Yeah, I used TurboTax up until I started my own company. I used
Right,
TurboTax a
right.
bunch of
Well, that's
years.
what and then I do every year. And this is what I've been doing this weekend. I download all of our bank statements, not the statements, but just the transactions uh, from the previous year. And then I go and I sort it and I find
Right.
what's deductible, what's not. But it's also the what the heck did we spend this money on? Exercise.
Well, mine is so It's not. I don't know if it's. I don't know if
No,
it's
but
more
yours is
complicated.
complicated because you got
Well,
yeah,
my big thing comes. I have travel expenses that are reimbursed.
right.
I got travel expenses that are not reimbursed, that kind of be. Then and I'm lazy. Well, on that stuff, I'm I'm lazy. Like you said, I'm lazier than I am cheap on that. Like, I'll not deduct stuff probably that I could,
Yeah.
just because I don't want to get, because I am the guy. I am the
Right.
per.
It's you.
But what I'm saying is, I am the kind that would get audited. If I played anything fast and loose, I'm the perfect,
Yeah.
you know, to come after. It's part of the reason I end up using a CPA, where at the worst case scenario, I'm going to claim ignorance.
Hmm.
It's not like they don't take the hit for that, but yeah, that bites. I got to spend a couple $1,000s just for somebody to tell me
You owe a
what
couple $1,000
what I
more.
owe, and I don't even know if it's true, man. Like, I'm like, well, okay, let's so. So that's why I'm a little more irked than usual as we do this on April 13th today. Is?
13th. Yeah.
Couple days before tax day. Yeah, I
Fun
gotta.
time. Fun times.
I'll be.
Also Easter week though.
Yeah, so it's Holy Week. So
Right.
so
If you plant a garden, this is the week. If you plant a vegetable garden of plants that come above the ground, like tomato plants, cucumbers, and all that, this is the week to plant it because the moon is right. Telling you, Easter's based on the moon.
okay.
It is.
Easter's not based on the Easter's based on the death and resurrection of your
but the
Lord
date
Jesus
that
Christ, Juan.
the date that Easter falls on
Man,
is based on the cycle
that's
of
why
the
they will not
moon.
let us teach Bible classes because
Guarantee you
man, you telling me
that's why
Easter's
Easter's
about
on a different
cucumbers and
day.
stuff?
That's
Oh,
a different day.
man.
And you planted the opposite. So I don't know if the moon's growing or shrinking this week, but I think it's growing. So that's when you plant. And things like carrots and potatoes, you plant that you grow in the ground. You plant them when the moon's the opposite. I guarantee you,
Dude,
look
you
it up when
sound
we're
like
done.
you've been hitting
Easter
mushrooms.
falls
I mean,
based on some cycle of the moon.
you've been doing mushrooms, not cucumbers and tomatoes, man. That's I'm not gonna doubt you. Why would I doubt you on that? But
As my former dad told me that.
so it is Holy Week, and all good Catholics out there, so that means Friday. Whew,
Crawfish
crawfish
ball,
balls.
no, that's right. Y'all gonna be sacrificing not to eat meat.
Priest today recommended a fast. He said we should fast on that Friday. I'm like, well,
I may have a turkey sandwich for lunch Friday, and some people think I'll be going to hell.
I do. It's all right, man.
Not because of the turkey sandwich.
Well, no. You celebrate, guys out there in America, just celebrate as you will. I'm going to be on a plane coming back from New Mexico on Friday, so if they offer breakfast on the plane, I will
pass on the sausage.
I can have eggs. Yeah, I cannot have the
no bacon or sausage.
I done messed up driving back Friday. Friday was a Friday in Lent. I was no meat. I didn't eat all day. I left Thibodeau around noon, and I got some coffee and a couple of coffees, but I didn't eat, and I'm okay with that. I can go a long way with eating. But then somewhere around Lafayette or something, I figured let me stop, use the restroom, and I'm gonna get a snack before. No, I just what I feel like, whatever. So I just grab a bag, and as I'm driving, somewhere between Lafayette and Lake Charles. Snack, and I realize I got gratons. I got pig skins. I'm like, oh, that's
that's true, huh?
That's not a Friday and Lent kind of snack. And I stopped mid-bag.
I would have never thought of that, though.
I stopped mid-bag. I went, gosh dang, all right, well, sorry about that, Lord. I just put that on the seat there. And traffic was horrendous. And I was all mad at Louisiana, but screw it's Texas that was doing it, man. The Texas-Louisiana line has been a train wreck.
It's traffic around here is always bad.
Well, you guys are
worse.
But the interstate's all torn up, and they've been working on it forever. And I got to the thing and that's when Google tells you how long you're going to be stuck in traffic. So you open up the Apple app,
yeah.
You open up the Waze app, just like, please, somebody give me a shorter estimate or a way to get out of here. But I got stuck in a 35-minute.
That's the worst when it says 35-minute delay.
And just sitting there. Two lanes, because once we got over the bridge, on whatever river it is.
In Lake Charles?
No, between Louisiana and Texas at the state line. Texas had it down to one freaking lane.
Dude, and Fridays, I don't know why. I don't know a lot of people who get off of work early on Fridays, all the time, but Friday traffic here starts like 2 hours earlier.
Wow.
3 hours earlier.
And then once you get past that one lane, you're still in construction, right? But still in, the road barriers, the road.
Those big concrete deals.
Big concrete things. So, and two lanes.
You feel like your rear view mirror's about an inch from.
Right. And you're still doing 75 miles an hour going through there because you've been tied up in traffic.
Yeah, like I got to roll.
And my big thing when I'm there stuck in traffic like that, I keep thinking, man, please nobody break down. Please nobody overheat. Please nobody, because you couldn't even get off, right? You get in those situations.
Right, there's nowhere to stop.
You're going to, right? But I always think, I don't know, I miss my calling. I always thought about, I could write like TV shows or movies for, it'd be really easy to mess up. They talk about terrorism and stuff. Dude, it takes nothing to shut down an interstate.
Yeah.
It takes nothing to turn a major city upside down with,
Oh, dude, you wreck on the other side of the interstate, you're slowing up traffic.
But coming back and the where was I headed? Where we did somewhere between coming out of Thibodeau, whatever the road is before I get to toward Morgan City.
190 probably.
So Louisiana is one of the only states you're going to see. You get roadkill, right? I mean, they've got roadkill, but alligators. So we've seen several times alligators. They had a roadkill alligator, bro. I want to see the car that hit it. They had about a 10 to 12 footer, a good 2.5, 3 feet wide.
Wow.
The legs were gone, so something apparently got to the legs.
Yeah.
But I mean, a big old alligator carcass right off the road. And I'm like, that took a lick. Like whatever hit that, felt it.
Now, this is a few months back, and friends of mine or some swim parents, they were going, I didn't go to meet, I think around Memphis. And they were driving up late at night through northern Mississippi. And they were counting deer carcasses along the interstate. They said there's just tons of them. They run out of the woods there, and they said that they've got just a big overpopulation of deer there, and so they're just feeding wherever.
And it's especially bad in that happened one time in areas where there's highway dividers. The things that they either have trouble jumping over or whatever, and it's really bad in I guess rutting or whenever they're amorous. Whenever the deers get a little amorous and they're moving around and. That happened a few years ago. I had to drive, and I had a quick. I still can't believe I was able to pull that off. I had a speech in Georgia, the Atlanta area. Thankfully, a little bit off, but in the morning, and then I had to be in Charlotte, almost exactly 3.5 hours after my end time on one speech, and it was about a 3 and a 15-hour drive to get there. So I was like, let's, and I mean. And it was a good gig. So I was like, well, the money I'm going to make on the speech, if I just get
you get tickets, a ticket, you'll be all right.
I'll just have to pay for it. But I remember hauling behind on those roads, and I lost count of the deer. I mean,
I think they counted more than 50, to be honest with you.
Well, I don't know that I saw 50, but I saw more than 10, probably more like 20 or so. And like that morning, these weren't. Yeah,
it hadn't been that long.
That puts the love bug season in perspective, y'all.
Just nick your paint, total your car.
Well, anybody that has to drive between, say, Morgan City on 90, between, say, Morgan City and Homa or that area, I don't even see why you would wash your car. You know what I'm saying? The bugs, even when it's not love bug season, just as it's in the evening, you're driving through a swamp. That's what you're doing. Right? You just, it's an interstate.
Seasons like that, or I used to like in love bug season, I would just put a coat of wax on the front of my car.
Well,
so it could come off easy.
Doing something at looking at one of the projects I got to take on in Thibodeau, like on the back barn, there's a door frame on a side door frame that's just gone. And I don't know if it's termites that got it or water rot, but it's painted. But you can pretty much push
your finger through it.
It's just, if I don't see any
termites, man.
Probably, right? And I don't know how long it's been. I don't know how, right? But while I'm kind of sizing that up and figuring out, gosh darn it, it's not the kind of thing I'm going to do. Like, what's this going to cost me kind of deal? And I looked down, and there were 2 pairs of love bugs. And I went, oh, no. I don't know if you guys at the beginning, I made sure to kill those.
Yeah,
I took those
early
out
for love bugs.
Well, he held me out. I was like, well, just in case y'all where it starts.
So I got 4 left, huh? 4 less.
4 less. That might have been the breeding stock. Well, they all breeding stock.
That could have been number 1 and number 2.
I did my best to take them out. But
so before we go, I want to talk about something that's been annoying on social media. Is this stupid little everybody making themselves into some little action figure in a box trend.
Yeah.
It's like, could y'all just stop? I don't get it. I don't know how it's done. I've seen stuff with the instructions on it, but
I was trying to think. I don't even know where to go for that. I wouldn't want to.
Yeah.
I didn't. And there are a couple of them, and I shared one with you, the Derek Carr one. Somebody somewhere did
Yeah.
something with Derek Carr, and it's kind of funny because it's Derek Carr action figure, and his arms in a sling, and he's
Right.
holding a
Right.
bag
That's relevant.
and he's holding a bag of money. That's humorous. Don't take this wrong, anybody. If you want to do one of those for yourself, just to look at it and think it's cute, fine. Nobody wants to see it. Y'all.
No, right.
Yo.
Screenshot that baby. Yeah,
Yeah,
let
y'all.
it go.
Nobody wants to see it. Just like a while back, I guess they still do every now and then where you can turn yourself into a painting or turn
Oh
yourself
yeah,
into,
yeah.
and it's
All
always
these characters and yeah, the
or
Mona Lisa.
just basically make yourself look way better looking than you actually look. Way better looking. And there, some ladies on Facebook just, and it's one thing if you do it once. They got this some person, people that you forget you're friends with, but all of a sudden they start showing up all the time
Well,
on.
a guy we sometimes talk about it, one of our old radio friends, did it a ton.
Yeah. I mean, it's always like, are you just sitting there thinking, you know what? People need to see another good looking version of me. I can't just keep this to myself. You know, it's just unfair. I can't keep my candle under a basket. I need to
That's
show
right,
it.
dude. You know, you gotta share that loveliness with the world.
That's what we try to do here every week, y'all. We try to show up and share some loveliness with all of you, America, with all of you. Give you a little news, some opinion, some bad ideas.
Lots of those.
A lot of those. Yeah, you know what? I'm looking at all my notes here.
I think we're done.
We pretty much caught everything. The one note I had is you saw that helicopter. They had a helicopter crash.
Dude, that was sad.
Okay, it's sad. It is, but here's why the news sucks. And when if they're not just stupid, they're criminal, and we all know they're lying. They're all lying. But they're showing the footage, and you see this, the helicopter crashes and everything. And then one of the reports was coming out saying they were suspected that they ran out of fuel. Okay, all right. And if you don't watch the footage, you're thinking, well, that's a shame. They ran out of fuel. But how do you explain the propeller being detached from the helicopter? Is that what normally that what normally happens when?
Yeah, that's how like in a car that your little fuel light will come on.
Yeah.
In a helicopter, the blades fly off.
That's right. If I'm a news reporter, you'd think.
I would guess that's probably a fuel. It would probably not burn nearly as much fuel without those blades.
As it turns out, maybe that's a safety thing. Oh, we're out of fuel. Let's drop some weight. Let's start with the props. Yeah. Not to make fun of a tragic. Not making fun of the event. Making fun of the couillons.
Yeah.
Get on TV to tell you about it. But anyway.
One last quick thing. So apparently this is Coachella weekend, or I don't know if Coachella is multi-weekend or not, but I've been seeing a bunch of video footage of the Go-Go's played.
Did they?
Got up and played. Apparently Belinda Carlisle is the only one who is aged well.
But they're our age and older, right? I mean, aren't they? Yeah. So
but I'm sure Belinda has probably, she's probably the one who made the most money afterwards, and has probably had a little.
She's had some fixing. She's had a little work, but I'll be honest with you. I don't know what you could pay me to make me go to Coachella. I mean, like,
yeah, I don't. I derail this again. It's more. It's music and politics. I
don't know. I don't know.
Bernie Sanders and
yeah.
What's her name were there?
It seems like a gathering of people that I really would pay money not to be around. But I'd be interested in seeing the Go-Go's. I think the Go-Go's are underrated. You go back, you go back and judge a group by longevity, and judge. My thing is 5 to 10 songs. What are your best 5 to 10 songs? And if you've got
They were good. And Belinda Carlisle had a great solo career too.
Correct. So all four. I will look for the footage, and I can enjoy the Go-Go's without having to experience the smell that is Coachella. There you go. That's old guys. Join us, man. We talk about how nice it is to trim some trees, why you need to plant your cucumbers and your tomatoes.
That's right. I'm going to look on that moon thing in a minute.
All right. So, the buffet's before you, y'all. I believe it's time that we push the button. Get on out of here. See if it all stuck to the magic tape in the sky. We hope it did. If you want to reach us, it's Dave and Juan at protonmail.com. And, of course,
and here
Right here.
wherever here is for you.
Stop for a moment and think about what you're doing now. Right?
Do it again.
Do that again next week. Ta-da! We'll be back. I didn't even tell you the church story today. I'll kind of save that one. It's a
It'll
mom
be
with
your Easter story.
yeah. I had kids in front of me that hey God bless them and the mom and whatever. But whew, you ever come out of church tired from somebody else's kids?
See, at my church, we don't let the kids don't come inside. Kids
Oh
got their own area.
man, man. And it was three. They had three brothers. Probably were like 6, 5, and 4, or 6, 5, and no, maybe 5, 4, and 3, or whatever. And
Yeah,
a little
young.
girl. Little girl was about a little over a year. And little girl apparently is growing up in a house with three older brothers. And when she wants attention, even my wife said, yeah, she sounded like a velociraptor, dude. She'd make a noise. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And I wanted to tap the mom and say, is she special or is that something she learned? Because that is a disturbing. So I don't know whether to be heartbroken. It's like
Tell
the
me your
one-armed
child's
guy.
growing up to be a psychopath
I
without
had
telling
a
me.
different attitude about what my approach was going to be, helping the guy when I found out, oh, sorry, bro, you got one arm. Hey, God bless you. You're doing a great job.
Mhm.
Same thing with this kid. If you know, it's like, please tell me you didn't teach her that or that's, but I
Yeah,
mean,
no.
a
I always
no,
said that growing up or before I had kids, every kid in church was bad. When I had kids, the only kids in church that were bad were mine.
yeah, well, this woman, you know, and I think she did a pretty, I mean, you know, did a pretty decent job for what she. What dad wasn't around. I want to know what the dad was, but she was there with with four of them. But man, that little girl, she. Whew, I was so happy when the mom pulled out goldfish. That worked for a little while, you know,
Here's a steak.
right? And the same thing is when you have a kid that turns around in the pew and starts interacting or dealing with you. Man, you can't, right? I'm the jerk. I'm trying. I don't want to be mean to. I'm not being mean to the
Yeah.
kid. I'm just trying to like, hey mom, hey mom, can you can
Yeah,
you
like
take?
those kids that turn around on the airplane. You
Yeah,
make eye contact with them once, you're dead for the rest of the flight.
yeah. That's why I keep on my earbuds and just drink. But that's my approach. Well, oh hey, we tell you every week, y'all. It's not a hint, suggestion. It's not an implication, or I think I want to say implication. The word didn't come out correctly. It is a freaking
It's a freaking mandate,
mandate.
just like filing your taxes.
Just like filing your taxes, you got to do it, and we tell you every week you got to do it. Live your best life, take your shots, y'all. Get out there, do your best. Some days are great, some days aren't great.
Yeah, Tuesday probably, if you owe taxes, Tuesday probably won't be great.
Probably not.
Wednesday will be better. Yeah, right in the middle of Holy Week.
Yeah, there you go.
Go plant your garden.
That's why they don't let you teach the Bible school, Juan. What you learned from Mr. Juan in Bible study today? I got to plant my tomatoes, Mom.
Right, because they grow above the ground in this
Did
Holy
y'all
Week.
talk about Jesus? No, we talked about the moon and plants that grow above the ground. And I asked the question, and Mr. Juan told me to shut up, you dumb chew. And I said, that was mean. That was mean. All right, everybody. You guys have a fantastic one. Have a great Holy Week. And we're going to get together and do this sometime next week. So, yeah.
Sometime next week.
Yeah. Well,
Be around.
hang on. We're coming. If we're not here, wait. We're coming. But right now, the plans are
We'll be back.
on Monday. We'll be back. Until then, have a great one. Love you, bro.
Back at you, dude. So, we had all the hacking stuff with Joey's account last week, and some of the Facebook stuff got messed up, and I don't know, she's still having trouble getting back in. So there's one thing, because like the person who hacked it added like some whatever that code that you got to go, like the 2-tier verification thing.
Oh, geez.
But so I wrote to, or because you can't find anybody to help you on Facebook or anything, so I put some, sent some stuff in, and they said, "Oh, we're gonna mail you a code to use." So got it in the mail this week. Let me read you the return address of this. Okay, Meta, which is the company that owns Facebook. It's in Menlo Park, California. The street, One Hacker Way.
I think that's legit.
Yes, it is. It's totally the street. and the code didn't work. So it's like you get hacked so often that your information comes from an address with a street name of hacker. You might just give me a customer service rep.
We just all need to go back to writing personal letters and reading the hard copy of the Lafourche Gazette. That's it.
That could be all we need.
It's over. Go home.